This is the fifth video on the playlist Going Strong in conversation with General VP Malik. The question here, sir, is that when Kargil happened, at that point of time our main threat was perceived to be from Pakistan. Now we have come in time 2 decades ahead. Now we seem to consider the Chinese to be a bigger adversary, if I can use that word. And in the hindsight, do you feel that gaps in our operational plans post Kargil, some deficiencies in logistics and infrastructure, coupled with deficient intelligence capabilities, encourage the Chinese to embark on their ambitious plans of an offensive posture in 2021 and 22?
I don't think that would be right. The fact is that, you cannot have masses of soldiers holding peaks in such a terrain every few yards and all. You have to have large gaps in that kind of a terrain. And the other thing I would just want to remind you is that it was only after Kargil War that we raised 14 corps. Earlier it was only 3 div. Subsequently we raised 14 corps soon after Kargil. It happened in my time. And so we did increase the density of our troops in that area, but you cannot hold every mountain tops like that. We've also improved our infrastructure there, which was lacking at that time. I think the violation that has taken place is primarily because of, again, a decision taken in Beijing to violate the agreements that we have signed over the years with them. Right from 1996 onwards, we've had so many agreements and they decided to violate it. Not only that, they decided to surprise us, first holding an exercise in Tibet and then using the same troops to intrude and occupy certain parts of our area on our side of the line of actual control. So it is more to do with a political decision which has been taken by Beijing to intrude and occupy some areas in manner that I have mentioned to you.
Sir, if this view is to be taken that this is sort of a top-up decision, top-down decision, emanating more from the political leadership, then according to you, sir, what were the lessons or that they wanted to sort of give us, or what were the gains that they expected?
No, apparently, as you know, they are not recognizing Ladakh to be part of our sovereign area. They have, I remember once India and Beijing, I was there myself as vice chief when Chinese agreed to hold talks between the generals on either side. And I said, okay, and we were to hold the talks in Leh. And last moment they said, no, we will not go to Leh. We want to hold these talks in Delhi. So I then cancelled it. I said, that's not our intention at all. So these are all political decisions which have been taken by Beijing not to recognize Ladakh as part of our sovereign country, or to recognize Arunachal Pradesh, or even Sikkim and certain areas. So these decisions which have been taken to violate the line of actual control and occupy certain areas on our side, as we call salami slicing issues. So these are coming down from the political aspects. It's not just the military PLA.
And it is just that they decided to come in the northern sector as opposed to a similar exercise in the eastern sector.
Yes, I mean, mind you, don't forget that we had incident even after Galwan incident. 2 years later, we had an incident in Arunachal also.
Right.
So it's not that they are excluding any, I mean, the fact is that they are not recognizing these to be our territories.
The entire border they want to sort of
So
show that it is.
For whatever reason, they think that because we are getting closer to the USA or we are going, you know, whatever their political reasons are. But all these actions which are being taken along the line of actual control to violate all the agreements that have been taken, signed by them with our political as well as military authorities. So these are deliberate decisions which have been taken by Beijing, and we have to keep it in mind that these are not impromptu decisions. These are deliberate decisions, and we have to prepare ourselves accordingly.
Fine, sir. Now, having regard to this situation of 2021 and 22, I would be asking you, sir, that what do you think about the proposed integration in the context of theaterisation, also having regard to the situation in Indo-Pacific and some defence experts talking about Andaman Nicobar Islands? What are your views in that regard?
See, firstly, we must be very clear that having a concept of Chief of Defence Staff, a Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, whatever you like to call it, and having theaterisation, that is today the most economical way and more effective way of ensuring security along the borders. It's we in fact have taken a long time to adopt that, but the Chinese did it so many years ago, and there are other countries also adopting this kind of a system. In fact, I would say we are late in that, and so this is something which has to happen and which should happen. There are certain differences amongst the services. We have to get over that, and ultimately it will be the more effective way of doing it. So we have to strengthen both the border along the line of actual control, as well as looking at the kind of intrusion and the density of the Chinese ships, military ships taking place in Indian Ocean. So we have to make sure that our security of the Andaman Nicobar or Lakshadweep in these areas, or in the whole of Indian Ocean, I would say, that remains, that has to be strengthened. So these are steps which have been taken quite rightly, and I hope that theaterisation with a proper concept of high defence control, not only the CDS but the other aspects of the high defence control, they are taken care of as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. It's very interesting. I noticed that in two questions you gave the insight from economic angle.
Yes.
That is something very important, both with regard to Agniveer as well as this integration. Thank you, sir. This brings us to the end of video number 5, and in video number 6 we would be having 2 questions relating to the role of artillery, and there are subsequent videos also. Thank you.